This is what we're going to need to make the best ever linguine and clam sauce. It's obviously a white sauce. It's rich, it's creamy, and it's easy, and it's quick to make. So let's do this. In this order, we're going to get this butter melted. We're going to add in the onion. We're going to let them get translucent. We're not going to let them go brown. At that point, we're going to add in the dry white wine. On this one, I'm using a Blanc. We'll add in the onions, and we will let that cook for a few minutes. Then we will add in a heaping teaspoon of flour. We'll turn that into a roux, and then we'll add the clams with the juice and mix that up for about a minute or so. We'll add the half and half as well as the seasonings, and this thing will be done. And it literally is done as quick as the fresh pasta boils. Okay, as you can see, onions are pretty much translucent. At this point, this is when you want to add the garlic in, about 30 seconds, just until it's fragrant. Never fully cook it, it gets bitter. So add in the fresh garlic. And when we smell it, we go to the next step, which is making the roux. This is quick, it's easy, man, and it is delicious. There's no reason not to make this. If you like linguine and clam sauce, this is going to be the best one you've ever had. And here's a pro tip: if you go to a fish market local, they shuck the clams and everything in the juice. Much better than the can, but the can's fine too. I've made it both ways, so it makes no difference. You know, the fresh ones are just a tad better. Okay, now we can smell that, so we're going to make the roux now. Mix that in there. Once this is mixed in and starts to thicken, which it's doing pretty rapidly, as you can see, we scrape the pan, keep it moving around a little bit. Alright, so you can see where it leaves that stickiness in here, that white film. That means the roux is made. Okay, so we're going to put the wine in now. About 1/4 cup. I don't measure, but I kind of just know how much. Just a hair more than that. So we're going to let that cook for a minute. We're going to mix this up, because we need that roux to form. And this is the liquor we're using for this, because we want to carry that wine flavor throughout this whole thing. Okay, so now it's thickened. Now we're going to put in the clams with the juice. And we're going to thin this out right now. Get all those little pockets out of there. As you see, they dissipate really quick when you have enough liquid. Those little pockets of the roux. So we're going to take our little spatula here, we'll flatten them. And keep in mind, as it cooks, they're going to go away too. I just like to see them going before I start getting all the way there, right? Alright, so we don't want this to cook any thicker. So now we're going to throw in 1/2 cup. I'm using heavy whipping cream. Normally everyone goes with the half and half. Nothing wrong with that. I just like it really creamy. That's just the way I prefer it. I like that rich and creamy texture of what I'm going to make. I'm going to move this around a little bit, and I'm going to turn this down now on heat. I was running at medium-high, but we're going to stop that now, because now we've got to let this thing kind of do its thing. We're going to use 1/8 teaspoon of dried thyme. You know what? Always go to taste. You don't have to follow everything I do. I like thyme in this. This is just good stuff. Then we're going to use 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And then we're going to use 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I use the kosher salt because it's just good. Okay. So now we're going to go down here. We're going to mix this in. And this is what we have. Now what I do, once this is going along, which is going along good, I like to put in just a tad of lemon juice, because it just goes well with any kind of a seafood, it doesn't matter what. Lemon just adds a little bit, and you don't need a lot. It's going to be plenty because of the wine. There is fruit in that, so that makes it go a little bit better. We drain whatever's left of that heavy whipping cream. Now for the little bit of extra I do. Again, this is personal choice. Parsley don't add a ton of flavor. I just like the way it looks. So here's some fresh cut Italian parsley, the flat. I think it adds a great amount of color to it. I usually top it off with that as well. And the pasta is pretty much done. So I'm going to drain that. And I'll be right back because the pasta actually goes into this. Threw the pasta on top. And that's exactly what we're supposed to do. Now, this is fresh pasta. And you know what I don't do with fresh pasta in a dish like this? I do not ever rinse it. And the reason why I don't do that is I want all the sauce to actually stick to this thing. Because that's what this is all about. So we're going to let this stay hot in here. We're going to just move this around. Just like that. We want to get all the sauce coated on the pasta. Because that's what it's all about. Get all that beautiful, tasty, fresh sauce. Get that pasta encased in it. And as you do it, you'll see it becomes more and more. You see that? How it's coating it. You always want to coat it. That's just the way you're supposed to do it. Okay? There's always going to be a little bit of bleed off on the sides, which is fine. Because you're just going to toss it back up in there. Okay? Then, we're going to take ourselves a little kitchen tool here called tongs. And we're going to grab a bunch. We're going to twirl it around like so. We're going to pull it out. Because we want everything, when we go in with the fork, to be even. So when we get it, we're not in trouble. We want to turn it, so when we turn our forks, we pretty much have it pre-turned when we get in there. That's always a nice little thing. Or you can just go the easy way like this and just grab some and toss it in the pan, or I'm sorry, in the dish, which I'm going to do for now, because just me today. My other half is busy doing something else. And we'll garnish this up a little bit. Let me move this out of the way. Let me give you a little better shot of this after this mess I just had. Thank God I keep my counter clean. It would be a disaster if I didn't. Alright, so we got a little fresh parsley on there for a garnish. We're going to throw a little bit of fresh grated parm on there. And my friends, this right here is heaven. I don't care what you say. Yeah, you're not going to see me eat this because I'm going to eat it right now. That is heaven.